Hello Pisces gang, welcome to my channel, Tarot by the Intuitive Teacup. My name's Annie. We're going to read your tarot cards here. This will be a general reading for Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Please come into it with an open heart, an open mind, a desire to learn something and to better yourself. If the messages that come through don't resonate, feel free to push them aside. They may resonate for you at a later date. And sometimes not at all. Sometimes the message will be going out to someone else. So again, just keep that in mind. You are accountable and responsible for all your own actions and decisions. Let's try and get you some helpful, insightful messages here. Bottom of the deck is the moon, so we will see if that comes into play in a bit. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to read this as kind of where you're going, what you're coming from and building towards, and then what you need to release and what you need to embrace. You need to embrace the hard work, the grounded energy. This is 8 of Pentacles. Which I believe is a Sun in Virgo card. So I think it's about identifying with the work that you're doing and you know, with the Sun, making sure that it's part of your, that it's in alignment with your life path. And I know that sounds kind of cheesy to say, but it's like seeing value in the work you're putting out there. And if you don't, then that's a sign that something needs to change. You know, it might not be throwing the baby out with the bathwater, but there could be something here where it needs to be tweaked or changed. Anyway, let's start here. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. So we're coming from the Mystic of Cups, the Mystic of Swords, and the Chariot. All right. I mean, to be honest, this actually looks really positive to me. This seems like something that was once a dream or an intuitive feeling. You've actually tried to sort of put it into logical terms, or I'm almost getting the idea of mind mapping, like taking something that's just a vision or a dream and actually writing down or jotting down some notes or creating some sort of map or guideline on how to bring it into reality. So Earth is going to come into play here. The only thing I see missing is fire, so the action. But I almost think that that might be coming through with the Chariot energy, is then moving forward on those plans. So this might be a slower process. I say that because this is sort of being, you know, flanking in Earth energy, right? The creator is the Empress in this deck, very much associated with Taurus, sometimes Libra. You have people, so it's hard for me to read too deeply into that other than, you know, almost Cancerian energy is what I'm reading out of this. So the idea of initiating emotional bonds or an intuitive feeling, initiating sort of that dream state mind, which again, very Piscean, right? Water energy. And then again, any swords in tarot have to do with the mind and the logic, communications about it, maybe inquiries, asking about it, creating ideas, or planning out a website, you know, writing out formal letters of communication, whatever it is, right? So it's taking something that's just a dream and moving forward with it. And then you have another card of Cancerian energy here too, the Chariot, which is about harnessing both your dark and your light energies, your masculine, your feminine, and getting them to work together in unison. So some of you may be going into some sort of business or even partnership where there's a heavy amount of this sort of water and air energy. So it has to do with the mind and the feelings, or the emotional expression, right? If we merge it, it could be a relationship between you and an air sign, for instance, right? And of course it doesn't have to be. I really encourage you to kind of take that at face value, but then add to it if and where you see fit. But there is something about sort of the merging of these two people or these two types of elemental energies, and getting them to work together to pull forward, right? The Chariot. The Chariot is a very good card. It's a card of victory. So that's what's showing up in your near future. So I don't know, maybe some of you are going on job interviews and trying to make some sort of formal connection with someone, waiting for a decision to be made on some sort of creative project, or you know, the cups can be a currency, a lucrative type energy. So it could be some sort of decision on the money or the property or something to do with the house, the home. I see you moving forward. Some of you may make the decision to move, to seek sort of new grounds, new land, new ownership of some kind. So then what you need to release is the Empress. Very interesting. So Let's see. And then what you need to embrace is the Eight of Pentacles. So typically the Empress is a very positive card. So when it comes up in a spread where the universe is saying what needs to be released, we have to look at, okay, well, if the Empress is sort of off kilter, a little out of whack, what would be like the negative attributes we would associate with that? The Empress is Venus ruled. It's very much related to Taurus, sometimes Libra. So in a negative aspect, Venus type energy can be quite lazy or self-indulgent. And I say that especially because if this is what you need to release and this is what you need to embrace, this is quite literally the worker bee card, right? Eight of Pentacles is like rolling up your sleeves and getting your hands dirty. So I will say you're not in the clear yet. I think you have a fantastic opportunity that, again, maybe it's just the early seeds of development. Maybe there is no earth, meaning there is no like tangible evidence of this manifestation yet. I think there will be, though. I really actually like these cards, and I don't dislike these at all. I think what I gather from this is what you need to move away from is resting on your laurels or expecting other people to sort of initiate the plans, or that's actually not the right way of phrasing it, because you're already doing that with the Mystic of Swords. You are already initiating. It's the action part. I think that's what's missing. And that's interesting because earlier I was saying, where's the fire, right? That expression. Again, with this kind of Venus, if we associate it with, say, Libra, opposing that is Aries, right? And Aries is that's initial spark, that fire energy. It's the first sign of the zodiac. It gets things going. It initiates passion and movement and energy. So it's almost like there might be an assumption or an idea that if you do A, the other person will do B. That might need some tweaking. I do think there's either unity or a joint venture or a partnership here, and maybe it has nothing to do with your immediate partner, or again, it could be this kind of internal merging of two ideas you have. I don't know. What I'm getting most out of this is the idea of resting on your laurels or assuming other people are going to rescue you, or I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a good metaphor for what this could be. If you want to go out in the world and start dating, well, you may have to start some of the conversations. You can't always be the one being catered to or waited upon. Which I don't typically associate that with Pisces, I'll be honest, so please don't be offended by that. But I mean, the Empress is a tremendous card, but are you being asked to move away from the idea of money makes the world go round? That could also be another kind of Venus or Venusian type energy is, money. Yeah, money talks. Money's great, but are you happy? Money's great, but are you progressing forward in life and with your dreams? Maybe money isn't everything. Or maybe taking a small cut out of your paycheck and putting it towards education that's going to help you progress or get a certificate or a degree. That might be something coming through here rather than, storing all the honey in the beehive. If you guys have like a nice little nest egg, as much as it's great to save that, is, and again, this is a judgment call. I don't know what your finances are, all you beautiful Pisces out there, but if you have enough where you can take some small cut, interesting, right, with the sword energy, and allocate it elsewhere that's going to help you grow long-term, over time. It's not a quick fly-by-night action. Can you open up a new avenue of or stream of income? That's sort of what I see here, rather than putting it all into one hive. It's one of the two. It's like not putting all your eggs in one basket, maybe allocating them differently and working on them again simultaneously. There's two strong energies here, even if they both represent you. Maybe you have two part-time jobs. Maybe you have two side hustles. Maybe you have two passion projects. Maybe you have two collaborators or partnerships or two clients that are coming in this week. Can you do both at the same time? And where are you being overly reliant on the nurturing of others? Or where are you really, not self-sabotage, that's too strong of a word, but where are you delaying your own dreams by, I'm trying to phrase this correctly, justifying the slowness of the timeline when really I think the universe is like, no, it's go time. Like we've had a lot of time to sit and muddle it through, but you might sort of be stuck in that like, you know, I've done all the planning, but it's almost so overwhelming. How do I move forward? You just do. You just start. It really is that simple. And I think too, sometimes we think that sitting and thinking on it for days, for weeks, for years, for months, whatever it is going to initiate action or initiate results, when I think sometimes it's the reverse. Sometimes by taking an action, you learn something and immediately that sort of projects you in the next direction. So I think you need to attribute more importance to the actions being taken, because there is some cautious energy here, and I'm never one to say, oh, don't do that, right? I think it's good to be logical and grounded. You do have that, but again, I almost see it to your detriment, like shooting yourself in the foot by either not hopping on a good opportunity, or being so, again, Taurus energy, kind of fixed about the price tag of it, that you might actually miss out on a really good opportunity that it has a lot of room for growth. This could very much be a career reading. Well, that's like, well, I only do it for this dollar amount. And you might be working with a client who simply can't afford you, but it doesn't mean it wouldn't be a great opportunity. Or if you're going to a job, they can't quite afford what you wanted, initially, but is there room for negotiation? Again, a great kind of sword energy there, a conversation back and forth. How can we make this work? How can we make this merge and get these two horses to move in sync, right? To move, in unison together and pull this cart forward, manifest this dream. And again, do you identify with the work? Sun in Virgo is understanding or putting a spotlight on the idea of making something user-friendly or making it work more efficiently, stripping it down to like the bare essentials, the pure essence of it. A lot of like bees and honey too. I feel like that might actually be quite symbolic for some of you, but I'm gonna leave that open to interpretation. Bottom of your deck here, Pisces, is the moon, so that's you. I love it. I love it that it's coming up in your energy. I do think you actually have a really good pulse on something right now. I think your intuition is showing up quite strong for you, and it's raring to go. Like this in theory, the way I'm reading it, probably hasn't come in for you yet. I do think there's wonderful surprises down the line. Trust your gut instincts. Trust your impressions of people, but also trust your capabilities. In this message, I almost see it as your default is assuming that someone else can do it better. And I don't think that's necessarily true. I think the spotlight is being shown on you. And again, with this Virgo card too, the idea of oppositions and pairings and mergers and partnerships. That's a very strong theme in your reading this week. So maybe something with an earth sign, maybe a water sign, especially Cancer. Cancer's showing up here strong, and any air sign for that matter. Let's get you an animal card. It could be creative opportunities. Again, sort of this like mirroring the two mountains, the two, I don't know what these are supposed to be, dogs. Maybe they're cats, I'm not sure. I almost see this as like, it almost has like a, not religious connotation. There's differences in opinion, but I think you both want the same thing in the long term. Like you're both looking up at the sun. You're seeing the same vision. You're seeing the same plan for the future. How you execute it may differ from your expectations of the way you originally envisioned this idea. But again, it doesn't mean you're going to be disappointed. I think it's going to require more work than you originally thought, or possibly more funding, more money. But again, you have such strong cards. I would be like, go for it. If you can, if you're willing to take some sort of, maybe small financial risk. But also do your research, see what your options are. You don't have to go full steam ahead if you're not certain on something. But again, don't be sort of, paralyzed by indecision, because that in itself is a decision, but I don't see that serving you because action is coming in the near future. All right, unicorn. How perfect for Pisces. I'm going to look it up in the book. This is Kim Cran's Animal Spirit Guidebook. Unicorn. I almost opened right to it. 2 pages away. That felt fated. Awesome. All right. It's difficult to see, hear, or think of a unicorn without immediately questioning if it's real. Did they ever exist? Perhaps long, long ago. The mind answers maybe, or it could be, or no way. This very contemplation explains that our relationship with divinity, this very contemplation explains our relationship with divinity and encapsulates our wavering belief in the unicorn. We wonder what divinity is. We wonder where our intuition comes from and if we can really trust it. We think about the higher power and our mind hesitates between yes, no, and maybe. Is it male or female? Does it have a name? Is it just a feeling? The unicorn card appears and wakes us up to curiosity about the higher self and the divine. Interesting, the divine. Something about that has to do with this moon card. It is a card of questioning, exploring, and contemplating in the inexplicable. The mind's eye knows there is something beyond our day-to-day lives and a deeper dimension to our experiences. The mind's eye reaches and reaches and reaches out to grasp something more. You are the unicorn and you have begun your quest for answers. Let's see. So, the unicorn and the 6th chakra. It's no surprise that the subtle essence of the unicorn card resides in the 3rd eye, the exact place from which the unicorn's horn extends. This center is called the, I'm probably going to butcher this, Anya chakra or command center. The ancient yogis believed it to be responsible for our intellect, intuition, and deepest wisdom. Some say our own 2 eyes see the past and present, while the 3rd eye peers into the future. Interesting. I don't remember if I said this to you, but when I was looking at this card, I almost wanted to put it in more of like a religious connotation, and I don't know why that's coming through, but maybe it'll mean something to someone. It's almost like we may have different belief systems, but ultimately what we're getting around to is the idea of a god or the divine or something, someone, some energy up there, in the cosmos looking out for us. So, the way you practice or pray or practice some sort of spirituality, it may differ a little bit from this person, but I wouldn't let that keep this great division between you. It's almost like let it flow. Let them kind of merge together into the ocean. And I know that's a little bit like trippy and like, what are we even talking about? To be honest, I don't know. I'm just kind of getting that intuitive sense that it's worth mentioning. For some of you, maybe there's some sort of romantic connection of building a life with someone, and maybe you have 2 very different spiritual backgrounds or religious backgrounds. Again, I don't see that being a problem if you can meet this person in the middle and vice versa. You might be putting something or someone or some practice, aka your spirituality, up on a pedestal. But again, is it worth it? What are you sacrificing to have it be in this sort of pristine, untouchable condition when the universe is saying, no, like let's chop it up, let's mix it up, let's add a dash of this and a little bit of that and see what we end up with. It's almost like you're trying to preserve something that needs to crumble apart a little bit, or, South Node in Scorpio, right? We had that lunar eclipse. It needs to transform and change. It needs to regenerate. It needs to die off and be reborn in like a new form. You're gonna have to get your hands dirty. You're gonna have to roll up your sleeve. But again, your intuition seems to be on point this week, Pisces. So highly encouraging you to sort of embrace that side of it and know that your intuition is going to come through for you. All right, guys, that's what I got for you this week. Please remember to like the video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you very soon for more tarot. Bye.